After 2 days of declines, investors are beginning to show increased concern over the stalled budget talks in Washington, D.C., but confidence may be up as two tech giants made some huge announcements today. Joining me now is financial journalist Nicole Lapin. Nick, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Tony,
Pleasure.
as always.
Yeah, as always. Do you agree that the shutdown becomes more an issue the longer it goes? And we're talking about into next week and beyond. You agree with that?
You know, the biggest fear
Yeah.
for the government right now and the economy is fear itself.
Right.
Because the big concern, and you were talking about this at the top of the hour for the shutdown, is the effect of furloughs on
Right.
these folks and their families. But when fear enters the picture and hesitation enters spending, thinking about the debt ceiling, which is the main concern, folks are not going out. They're not buying big ticket items. They're not going to the movies. Businesses are scared, so they're not hiring.
Yeah.
Which leads to more spending concerns.
Well,
so
that's
that affects consumers, and then it affects the larger economy.
And as you and every financial person I've ever met has reminded me, it's
the debt.
consumer spending that drives the economy. What, 2/3 or so of the economy?
GDP.
Of GDP. All right.
Yeah, so think about it this way. So if the debt ceiling fears go into place, this is the gist of the debt ceiling, because you want it broken down.
Yeah.
The government can't pay its bills, and
Yep.
we have a lot of bills. So that means Social Security, that means
Oh, yeah.
Medicare, that also means the stock market tanking. So that leads us into an automatic recession. And not only that, it ruins our standing around the world.
That's right.
So interest rates go higher, which is just a trickle-down effect for the lack of credibility of U.S. Treasuries and U.S. bonds, which leads us back to 5 years ago when you and I were talking
we're doing
about
this
that.
business. Sure, exactly. But it's interesting. We saw sell-offs over the last couple of days of stocks, and yet today we're going to bounce up about 70 points with
because
the
they're
markets.
banking on a resolution.
Yeah, banking on a resolution. And how much of that has to do with this announcement of this IPO of Twitter? But the real question then becomes, could the IPO be delayed because of the shutdown?
Yeah, you know, that's an interesting point, because they're filing with the SEC right now,
Yeah.
and that's a government agency. So
Yeah, exactly.
it could be delayed, but they already filed their S1, which is the kickoff to the IPO process.
All right, so talk to me about this Twitter IPO. First of all, how do these social media companies even make money? It's not cool to put ads up on these sites, right?
This is like Christmas to me, because everybody had wondered, how the heck did Twitter make money anyway? So now we have a little bit more insight. But let me paint the picture.
Great.
This is the biggest tech IPO right now since Facebook. And when I say biggest, you're trying to think, well, what does that mean? Facebook, when it went public, let me put this in perspective. It made $5 billion. Twitter is making $600 million. It's still a lot, but we're talking a Jugundo company, and we're talking a less Jugundo company here. And the number of users for Facebook when it went public was billion. And here we're talking about 215 million. So we're getting a little bit more information into how Twitter is making money. And it's mostly advertising, which is concerning investors because that's their main revenue stream. But they did make money in the first 6 months of this year, double than what they made year over year, but they still are losing money, which is a concern.
Making money. Facebook owns Instagram.
So all these stories are
dovetailing,
connected.
right? Yeah.
Exactly. So Facebook, as you remember, bought Instagram for $700 million.
Yeah.
And the big question there as well, you put it into perspective, how are these tech companies making money? So Instagram had to start making money, and this was widely known that they were going to start putting ads into the system. So how are they going to do that without disrupting the user experience?
Is it cool? No, most users won't think it's
Instagram?
I'm not.
We need to get with that, Tony.
Like you signed me up for Twitter. Yeah.
But now they are really trying to be selective as to which companies can put their ads on Instagram and which promoted pictures and promoted videos can be up there. But this really tells us that U.S. businesses are trying to put more money into social advertising, billions and billions of dollars.
I dropped that in there, but it's the truth. You helped me sign up for Twitter because it was all thumbs.
Back in the day, I did it. I'm going to sign you up for Instagram.
Oh, my. Good to see you, Nicole Lapin.
Great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you.